Hello to everybody. I hope um, uh, there are still a couple of people joining. We had quite a lot of people registered, so my colleague is just contacting them to join. But anyway, I'm going to start. I'm going to take the short time before the people are joining just to make a short introduction to the Futurasmus Koenigs group of companies. For those of you who don't know Futurasmus, I'm going to do this small, very small presentation, and then we're going to start directly with the Evolution software or BMS solution, which you will see it's a very complete product. So meanwhile, I'm going to start. This is a webinar, so the idea is so that you can, 1 second, I'm just going to move this so that I can see the people joining. Okay, so the idea is that you learn as much as possible, and not just I'm speaking here and you don't understand what I'm saying. So if you don't understand anything, please feel free to interrupt me and ask me. We obviously have a limited time, so I will be going quite fast with the different modules and things to show. But obviously it's for you guys, so if you don't understand something, just ask. I'm going to mute you guys if you have the microphone in on, just to not to have background noise, but please feel free to unmute it again. It's not blocked. Just unmute it again, and then you can speak freely and ask questions or whatever. Also, after the webinar, I will be, the webinar will most probably end on time, hopefully. But for those of you who have questions, I will be sticking along longer to answer those questions. Okay, so then yes, let's start. The Futurasmus is a Koenigs wholesaler, Koenigs training center, and Koenigs test lab. And we also have recently created a showroom. But it's actually a group of companies. We've got 3 companies: Futurasmus SL, which is the main mother company, then Futurasmus Koenigs Test Lab, and Futurasmus GmbH, which is located in Germany. The mother company is located in Spain, Alicante, in Mutramil, Alicante, and the test lab is in San Juan, Alicante. The wholesaler, we have recently had our 20th anniversary in the Koenigs Crossing. I don't know if some of you have joined the Koenigs Crossing event. It was quite a interesting event where we could move as avatars and see each other in a type of trade fair environment. So it was quite an interesting experience. There are large multi-brand online catalog in our one of our biggest things is our online catalog or webpage, where you can find almost any Koenigs product. If you don't find it, please just contact us and we will try to get it for you. We also have online management, almost like a software for our customers, where they have access to their RMAs, to their orders, to their history, to their open orders, and we are going to improve. We are constantly improving this online management tool, where we are now integrating, which is long overdue, the tracking system and messaging system for our customers, so that there's a better communication even with the customers. It's an international online catalog, but we're not an online shop. We are only working with professionals. We're only working with companies, integrators, installers, who and not to end customers. So our team of engineers are very highly trained team of engineers who can help you in the selection of the products, and also the selection of the helping you with the technical support after the installation of the products. Our technical support is really a great technical support. We have engineers who have worked with us for 15 years now, or more even, and have a vast KNX experience, and very can give you a quick answer to most of the questions. Anyway, we have an excellent communication with our manufacturers. So if there's a question which we can't answer immediately, we will we can call directly often to the developer, not even to the support guy, but even to the developer of the company, and ask them the questions, so that you can have an answer very quickly, because we've got these direct contacts, very good contacts. As a training center, we are most probably one of the training centers who most students have trained in the world. First of all, we were one of the most active training centers for on-site student trainings confirmed by the KNX Association, where we have trained more than 1,500 KNX partners in Alicante and all over the world. I've been doing trainings in Taiwan, in Middle East, in South Africa, in many places in the world, also in universities, in various universities. I've been doing the training in the master degree of the university, where there was a module for this training. So we have been doing a lot of trainings. Also, we have now been doing the online the online training with a simulator online check tool to check your ETS project. So it's a great tool to learn. And there we have so we have trained altogether more than 4,000 KNX partners, which is quite a high number for KNX. We do also specialized trainings, and we have also the tutor course, so that we can train trainers. Also, we have a certified test lab. That means we can certify KNX products. So if a company wants to manufacture a KNX product, it must pass one of the certified test labs, and we are one of them, according to the quality management system 17025, which is for test labs. We have got very specialized test engineers who have been doing KNX from almost the beginning. And also then we have a on-site showroom where with the coronavirus was a pity, because we have it very new now installed with all the newest products, and we wanted to invite a lot of people there, and with the corona we had to do some other things with it, so in order to show the products, we are doing it now online. So if you are interested in some of the products, in our webpage we have got a category which says there's like a sign on it. I don't remember showing. So these devices are in the showrooms, so where you can see. I think it's called support or something. Let's go to the webpage. So if you are in the FutureRasmus webpage, what's going on? So if you go to the FutureRasmus webpage, let's go to the com. There's a tab at the top. If you go to buy, there's in stock, and in offer. It's not here. It must be only in the Spanish one, which is an error. It should be also in the English one. There you go, support plus. Okay, so we should put it also in the English one, because we can do it now online. It was thought to be just on site, so but now it can be also online. So the support plus, all these products which are listed here from these different manufacturers, we have in our showroom, and we can set it up very easily and put it in and show it to you, and you can do even practical work with it. So it's a great tool. Okay, let's start directly now with the Evolution webinar. The Evolution BMS was a project which one of the things most people don't know about FutureRasmus is that we have many not only test engineers, but research and development engineers. So more or less 15 years ago, we started, now even more, we started with the research and development department, where we have been doing various research and development projects for other companies. So we have been doing um, uh, both for hardware and software components, KNX components, the, research and development. And one of these research and development projects, which we have started 15 years ago, is the Evolution. So we have created a very, very nice looking graphical user interface building management system over the last 15 years, together with the company IPAS. And IPAS, together with with a German engineer, also part of this project. And we are still all the developing engineers in this Evolution project, and we are going to keep on with full power now with the Evolution product. But this product is no longer the IPAS product anymore. So this is now a Futurasmus product, or we gave it the Evolution brand name. So it's an Evolution product, which is distributed by Futurasmus, and we have the design engineers in house to to very fast react also on the needs of our customers. So, and the product is it's really one of the it's a very, very well tested product, which is installed in many installations. Before it was called Evolution, IPAS had the Combridge Studio Suite, which already had was maybe 18 years ago already had one of the biggest installations in the world done with it, which is the core of the Evolution. For instance, the Walgreens in supermarkets in America, all of them are controlled with various thousands of supermarkets are controlled with this core visualization system. So we also have various KNX Award projects. The three, at least three KNX Award projects, winning even the KNX Awards with the Evolution as a BMS system. There are projects for airports done with it. There are Formula One rally track done with it. With the lighting of the Formula One rally track is done with it. The Apple headquarters is done with it. The FIFA headquarters is done with it. A whole chain of the lighting of a whole chain of movie theaters is done with it. There are projects where they are creating a smart city, where they have one Evolution in the in a central building, and they are controlling the whole public buildings all one by one, where they're integrating more and more public buildings into this and it's done by the city themselves in one of the cities in Germany where it's integrated. So there's a huge list of reference projects all over the world done with the Evolution, which is quite spectacular. The product itself, we are keep going on developing new features and new product, new functions in the Evolution. So it's a living project. The newest one is the annual scheduler, which I will show you now. So the previous annual scheduler is substituted with a new, very modern HTML responsive annual scheduler, which I will show you at the end of the presentation. The evolution itself, I've created a very nice PowerPoint presentation, but then I thought, why should I use a PowerPoint presentation? Why don't integrate this PowerPoint presentation into the webpage? So we have launched now the new webpage of the evolution, and this new webpage is actually based on the PowerPoint presentation I've done. So I'm going to go into full screen mode. So this, I'm going to use this presentation, but in form of the new web page. So in the evolution, if you go to the evolution tab, there's explanation of what the evolution does. So first of all, there's this introduction. It's a multi-protocol building management system which can communicate not only with KNX but with as you would want from a building management system, with various different protocols, not only a KNX visualization, but BACnet, Modbus, KNX, DALI. It can communicate with that and more protocols. So the visualization is very, very user-friendly. You can use it to monitor, not only to visualize, but monitor everything into a SQL database. You can obviously visualize it with the optimized HTML visualization, and it's extremely customizable. You can make it look like the way the customer wants. And also with Evolution, many other visualizations, you immediately recognize the visualization. You can say, oh, this is brand A or this is brand B. So in the case of the Evolution, it's not like that. You can create a real customized look and feel to it, so that once they see the visualization, they can associate it with your company and not with a brand. I think this is something very important also. What is the evolution that I've explained now? It can be used for any type of installation. It's really a extremely powerful tool. There are many different or there are various different hardware types which you can use for it. So to explain it, I'm going to go directly to the hardware, and then I can come back to the main screen again. So these hardware types are mainly to use not for the amount of data you want to store in the database, but more the speed it must be stored into the database. So, and also obviously the amount, because the higher the amount, the higher the speed usually is. But all of them have more the same hard drive. It's a very robust a solid state disk, which is industrial hardware with very industrial components, with a highly life guarantee. So it's really good stable hardware. It's not just Amazon hardware. So it's a real industrial component with industrial pieces, yes, components inside. And it's optimized for the evolution. So obviously, if you want to use a hardware, these are highly recommended to use, but you're not linked to hardware. You can also go to the virtual machine versions, which I'll explain to you now, and then you're not obliged to use one of these hardwares. But as you can see in these hardwares, the main difference, okay, obviously the CPU is a little bit stronger. The higher module you go, the faster it will process the data. And also the memory, the RAM memory, not the memory of the disk itself, but the RAM memory. It's bigger the bigger you go. So this module is for most small buildings enough. So if you have not too high data load, it's enough to go for this one. Before, this one was with 2 Ethernet connections. Later they changed it to 1 Ethernet connection, and now because of many customers complaining they wanted again the two Ethernet connections, we have ordered it again with 2 Ethernet connections. So even the smallest version has 2 Ethernet connections, giving you the possibility to connect the one connection to the internet and the other one to the KNX bus, for instance. Okay, then I was just saying to the new people who are joining, just take into account that I'm muting your microphone, but you can anytime unmute it and speak freely, ask questions or whatever. So in the advanced server, it's for bit higher workload, and the rack even higher workload, but both the advanced and the rack are already very more than enough for huge installations. But usually in big installations, the installation already has a server. So why put a redundant another server in there with just another hardware? It doesn't make sense. So that's why we also sell the virtual machine version. If this hardware, if this server is a hardware, then we can sell you the just the normal virtual machine, hardware bound virtual machine, which has a license linked to the hardware of the device where it's going to be installed. So you send us a file which is generated by the Evolution. We receive this file, we generate a license file for you, which you have to store again on the Evolution, and then you have the licenses of the virtual machine. This can be done with a hardware bound version. But sometimes there are installations where there's not a hardware, there's a private cluster or a private cloud where there is not one hardware. It's a cluster of different hardwares. So then obviously you cannot link it to this hardware only. You must link it to a you must protect it by another means, and this is by a usage agreement. So this is not sold with a license key, but with a usage agreement, which has to be signed by each time we sell this Evolution. So yeah, and also it's more expensive, obviously, than the other ones. Okay, but in the case you buy a hardware bound version and you say, okay, but what shall I do? What happens if my hardware breaks? Don't worry, we can obviously substitute. You can substitute the hardware, and we can generate the license file again. Obviously, if the hardware breaks every now and then obviously there's something wrong. It's logical. So this is linked to hardware, and we will then also to the hardware and the MAC address of the device, both. So we store this information and we register your new licenses under the new MAC address. Okay, so this is about the hardware of the Evolution. Sorry, the Evolution page. Then what is included in the BMS? So we have now included all the additional modules, which if you know the Evolution from IPAS, we in FTTH Erasmus thought it doesn't make sense to sell the additional modules separately. The basic Evolution should include all of them. So we've included all the extra licenses worth more than 7,000 euro into the basic version of the Evolution. So so that you have got the smart metering, the annual planner, the database manager, the multiple projects, the everything is included in the basic module of the Evolution. So this is a very, very good feature, I think, for you as customers, so that when you buy the Evolution, you don't know, okay, but I can't communicate with BACnet, but I need a different license or different whatever. No, you can communicate with all of the different protocols. You can have all the functionality of the Evolution inside. The only thing which you still will need if you have more than 5 KNXNet IP gateways, where you want to connect to, then you will need extension licenses. These extension licenses can be acquired additionally, but they're really not expensive, so one can easily upgrade the evolution to the size of the project where you need all these. So these are the ones which are included already by default in the evolution when you buy it. But as soon as you want to extend, you will need, if you have more than 5 Modbus devices or more than one BACnet device, then you will need to buy additional license. But I think that's very normal. Okay, so these are the now that we're speaking about the licensing, let's go to the buy-in prices quickly. So this is the table of the different versions of the evolution. You've got here the different hardware and the virtual machine, and as you can see, we've created an additional 1500 data point version, because there's a lot of small installations where you want to have a very nice database management, where you want to have very nice graphics, trend data, where you want BMS functionality, but in a small house, even in a house. So that's why we decided to create a version of the evolution which is affordable for not only big buildings but also for houses. So it's a real building management system for a house. So you're driving a Ferrari when you only need a Volkswagen maybe, but at a at the price of the Volkswagen. So this is a real good thing, so that you can even use it in smaller buildings. But obviously the unlimited version is unlimited in everything. I will explain it to you now. So there's no limitation whatsoever for the data point types, for the visualization pages, for the alarms, for the scenes, for all of that. So and they're very reasonable prices, as you can see here. If you come, okay, I'm just going to mute here. So and then these are the additional licenses. If you want to buy additional licenses, these are the additional licenses. I'm going to show you the first, before I explain this multi-user, I'm going to show you the use cases. So let's go to the evolution page again. And yes, I think I explained everything here. So application examples. The evolution can be used, as I said, with the new license 1500 data point extensions. We can use it for small installations even. So you have a client, you've got an evolution, and you've got a KNXNet IP gateway and a KNX installation, and this is your setup. Or you can have several simultaneous accesses to one evolution to a line, or you can have one to various, or you can have various to various. For instance, here in this case, various to various. So you can have installation where there are many gateways and many clients connecting to one evolution. Or you can have a building where you have many lines, each line, for instance, a different floor of the building, and you have this one evolution which connects then to all of the individual lines. Or you can have various buildings all with the same evolution. There's now this one project, as I said, in city of Germany, where they have one evolution here. We still haven't drawn this application example, and they have in all of the schools and the different buildings evolutions placed in here. So in this case, each evolution here, decentralized evolution, stores the data locally. So each evolution has its own database and its own visualization, its own everything. But in the central evolution, they don't connect to the building, to the individual buildings. They connect to the evolutions of the individual buildings. And in this evolution, you have to say which of the process points you want to make visible to this one. And then this one reads the process points of these evolutions without having to go into the buildings themselves, because the evolution has all the data stored locally in its temporary tables internally, to have the online data of all the buildings. So without having to generate a huge bus load in the evolution, you can have a centralized visualizations of all your projects and see them in the centralized installation. Obviously, you can also have only one evolution connecting via internet to the different KNXNet IP gateways, and have only one evolution connected to all of your installations, where you can have a really reduced price. So if there is not so many critical data which in the visualization they need in this building, and you want to have a really cheap solution, you can just put one evolution and connects to all of them. You can have multiple users with different user rights, depending on the user who enters, will see in the different visualization pages different things. So you create only one visualization page, and in this visualization page, some of the elements are hidden and some are not. Some of the process points are hidden in the certain modules and some are not. Some categories are hidden and some are not, depending on the user rights which you are assigning to the evolution. You can also have this. This is very interesting solution. This is the multi-project license which you will need in this type of installation, where each home is a house owner which is separate from the others. So the scenes, the alarms, the visualization itself, the statistical data, all of that must be only for this house. So if you go to the multi-project licenses model, then you can set the evolution up in such a way that each house is treated separately. So you have only one evolution, and then you create multiple instances for each house. So each house has its own user rights and its own. So you will have the scenes separate for this one, another scenes for this one, so totally independent. So this one won't see the alarms of this one or this one or this one. Then you can obviously have one here in the central location, which can supervise the alarms of all the houses. But yes, you can actually create separate islands totally independently. So if I go back to the home, to the buy and prices, this is this license here, the 150 euros license. So eventually, for each house, you will need obviously a KNXNet IP gateway and this price. So for a very cheap price, you can have a visualization in the house. You have to have obviously one evolution. Any one of these can be used, depending on the number of process points. Even the cheapest one will be this one. These are list prices, obviously. On top of that, you have a discount. So it's a really interesting. It's a really interesting price which you can get for per house. So even the cheapest visualization usually is more expensive than doing this. Okay, so then you have, as I said, for each evolution, you have only one evolution in the whole complex, and you have these extension licenses for each house, which is then a really cheap solution for hundreds of houses which can be controlled. We've done a couple of these projects, not we, but our customers, and extremely happy with the solution. And obviously you can have an evolution also. One of the biggest modules, or one of the most important modules of the evolution, is the smart metering module, which we will be extending in the near future also with new functionality. So you can have one evolution to control or to supervise all the different energy meters of the different buildings all around the world. So you don't need to have one in each building. You can have one evolution and it can supervise all the meters in your different projects. Okay, so this is also a very, very interesting feature. Um, then let's go to the editor. The editor, it's really easy to use. You have on the left hand side the working menus, you have the right the detailed menus, and in the middle the area where you drag and drop the visualization pages, for instance, in the middle, so where you drag and drop the components. I will show it to you later in the real evolution. The visualization can in the same page have BACnet, Modbus, KNX, DALI, whatever you want. So the evolution doesn't work with KNX data points, it works with process points. So all the process points for the different systems are equal. So you don't need to know what is behind it. You just have a process point. It doesn't matter for the evolution if it's BACnet, Modbus, KNX, or DALI. You just have a process point, and this process point you can use in any of the modules. So it's really a great feature, so that you can have really the in any of the modules you can use it. So also the size of the screen can be different sizes. Obviously in the visualization, it's better to choose the screen size just to make it optimized for that screen size. But later it can zoom automatically to the different screen. So if you open it in a different screen, it can automatically zoom to fit in this screen. But it's better to choose first the size of the screen, so that when you design it, that you have it optimized for that size. There, as I said, unlimited visualization pages. You can create as many pages as you want. Unlimited process points. You can create as many process points as you want, unless you buy the Evolution 1500 version. And actually, this unlimited feature in the evolution, you don't have limits in anything, in charts or alarms or webcams or whatever you want to use in the evolution. It's unlimited. You can use as many as you want. The tree view of the visualization pages can be organized in folders and has a nice filter function, so that you can find it easily. Your user management, you can change the login screen, you can change the background image, the username and password, the unlimited number of users you can create unlimited number of user groups. Different rights for each user group can be established in the and the multilingual feature. So each user can be assigned a language, and each component in this visualization can have a different what do you call it, a different language assigned to it, to the different functions of the component. So the text for on can be on, ein, entender. So you can set up different text for the different, and if the user goes in as a German user, he will see it in German. If he goes in as a English user, he can has it, and you can have a default user a language assigned to the user, or you can change it on when you go into it. The access can be either HTML or smart visualization. The smart visualization, if you go enter, for instance, with a cell phone, which is a small screen, you don't want the big 4K resolution. You go in as a smart visualization, and you see it in the smart visualization, which is responsive, optimized for smaller screens. Data points. You've got a data point editor where you can edit the different data points. So the data points would be, for instance, the typical KNX group addresses or the BACnet objects or the Modbus objects. But you don't really need to go into the data points. You only, when you import the data from the different systems, you just tick make a tick on create automatically process points, and then you can forget about this step. It creates automatically the process points. So this data point editor, it's nice to have if you want to do some additional features, like for instance polling, if you need to poll the installation because the heating system doesn't send you the temperature with the right frequency, so you need to poll it. You can set the polling time and set unit conversions, because maybe your energy meter sends watt hours, but the customer wants to see kilowatt hours. You just put the unit conversion. You say you receive watt hours, but I want to convert it to kilowatt hours, and then in the whole evolution you will have kilowatt hours in the process point. And stuff like that. So there are many features you can set up in the data point. You can also set it up in the process point. So there are, as I said, two levels. There's the data point level and the process point level. For instance, in the process point, which can be done very easily, is to set up if it must be stored in the database or not. You can set up the sending group, the sending data points and the status data points. You can set up the logical function for these status data points. For instance, if you have if you want to display the window contact status of the whole building, you just select all the data points of all the window contacts, the status data points of all the window contacts. You just add it here, and you set up that it's a logical OR in it, and that's it. So let me control F5 quickly. Okay, I think no. So you can just set it up here easily. So let me go out of F11. I think if I double click on this, no, it's still not set up. It will be, all of these images will be links. Let me control F5. Let's see if it's already a link. No. All these images will be links, so that will open in a bigger resolution so that you can see them better. At the moment they are like this. So this process point are the possibility to set up, for instance, greater, smaller, and average. So you can create a copy of the process point and set create, for instance, you can copy and paste the process point, and then in one you set the logic functions to be greater, and the other one you say smaller, and the other one you say average, and then you have three process points with the same so for instance, let's say we receive the temperature from the different temperature sensors. You set them up here so that they are the temperature values from the different sensors, and you copy and paste this process point 3 times, and you set up one is greater, one is smaller, and one is average. So then you've got 3 process points, one showing you the average value, one showing you the smallest value, and one showing you the biggest value. So that then you can use that in logic, in your logic functions, in your whatever. So you don't need to create an external logic to do this. And this process point represents this value. You have an advanced editing functions where you can set up times and delays, initialization, startup behaviors. You can set up if it's a master master or slave functionality to share this process point with the master or not. In the processing, you can do real complex functions like unit conversion or very powerful processing function where you can set up formulas here, which will explain to you later, which are extremely complex formulas which you can use here. So in the recording function, you can set the log data if you want to interpolate it or not. Should it be logged on change or after a certain time? The visibility for the different user groups. So if there are, so maybe let's say the maintenance process point should not be visible for the normal users, and then this maintenance guys will have different visibility rights. And they will see this process points, but the other people won't, for instance. The component editor is also very complete component editor. There are many predefined components in the style. So here is a list of the predefined components, but there's a component editor where you can set up your own style. So you can change your styles so that if you don't like any of the styles, this is for instance the white style, simple style. If you don't like that style and you want to create your own style, you can set up the border thickness, the text size, text font, the transparency of the buttons, the roundness of the corners, the size of the button. Everything can be set up as you wish, and then you can save this. So you do this for all the status. So for instance, for an on-off element, you have got 3 status: the unknown status, the on status, and the off status. So you set this up 3 times with the different preferred color schemes and everything, and you set it up, and then it will appear here on the left hand side. All of the buttons will be changed to this new style you have created. So you can create your own styles with this. This is a typical visualization page, which you can see like this. Okay, the hardware I've already explained to you. The user interface, it's really, you can use it for anything. I'm just gonna take away the sound here. How can I take away the sound of this video? I don't know. You don't hear this. You don't hear the sound, do you? I don't know how to take away the sound. Oh, yes, there. Okay, so I'm just gonna start it. Play it again. In this, you can see. You can use it for single houses, for, as I said, for smaller houses, where you can have a nice grid view and view of each of the rooms, where you can control the audio, video, the RGB lighting. In this way, you can have a heating system control where you can control the different pumps. You can have different user rights, as I said here. You can have very nice looking graphs with a transparent background where you can zoom in and zoom out very intuitively. You can have the smart metering module where you can see and set up the different views. You can view everything from a PC or from away, from your laptop or smart home. You can use it for hotels. In a different hotel, you can have an overview, for instance, of the whole all the rooms in a view like that, or integrate webcams and audio video control and water temperature graphs with historic data. You can have the heating system controlled with the hydraulic system. You can have weather forecast implemented into the system. You can use it for hotels, where you can have many hotels controlled with one single evolution, where you can have in offices, for instance, different offices where you have, for instance, a DALI control and all the DALI gateways integrated in very short time. You can do schedulers, weekly schedules, for instance, like this, where you can have very fast control on the day you want to control it, very easy control for that. you can have it for industrial buildings where you have, for instance, an overview of the different rooms, where you have a ventilation system with duct system, where you have fan coils to control, smart metering, where you can analyze the data and decide where to optimize what supervision of the alarms, so that you have a full alarms state machine where you can set up also acknowledgement and put them into delays. You have a scene module where you can set up the different scenes in the Evolution with a very user-friendly interface. So this is just a short, quick overview of the functions of the Evolution in a video format. So as you see, the user interface is really a nice feature of the Evolution. Let's have a look a little bit slower to the different modules, which I've shown you now in the video format, so that we can see all the modules of the Evolution. So let's start with the alarms. Alarms, you have this alarm editor page where you can set up the context, the messages, and the alarms, and then you set up the different things here in the editor. Once you've set it up, you can have then the online visualization for that, where you have a complete alarm state machine. So if the alarm has been triggered, it must be acknowledged. If it's acknowledged but not gone away yet, you can set it, for instance, in maintenance mode, and then there can be another pop-up coming up after a time, showing you that the if there was if it was not the maintenance done in that time, you can see all the history log of all the people who have acknowledged the alarms with the date and time they have acknowledged it. So it's a very complete features. Then your alarm module, you can set up also the messages to be displayed on the display, the subject, the email messages that should be displayed, and then if it should be sent per SMS, per email, or just on screen display. You can set up the different contacts and the alarms, so that it sends to the different people different alarms. Then you've got this type of alarm log visualization, where you can see when it happened, the name of the alarm, and the state. So it's alarm and it's act, no alarm, it's alarm, whatever. So normal, but not acknowledged. So, and you can, if you click on the 3 points, you can see who did what and when. So it's also a very nice feature. So the scenes, you set up the scenes in the you can set up the scenes in the editor, but you can also do most of the things in the online module. So this is the editor where you can set up the scene, but for instance, the events when the scene should be executed should be set up in the editor, but the scene itself can be totally adjusted in the visualization. You can even create new scenes in the visualization, which can be used in the visualization, which I will show to you later, which is very easy. So you can add new lines to the scenes, you can add delays in between, you can save these. It's real nice features. The scheduler, for the weekly scheduler, also extremely easy. The editor part, and then the online part, where you can click on the different days of the week and the value to be sent, and the time of when it should be executed. So extremely easy user interface. The smart metering module is one of the nicest models, and one of the most time saving modules also. So you set up really easy the active power, the active energy, the different tariffs, and the different price to this to the different tariffs, the different color schemes you want for the different for the different types of energy meters you have, or not only energy meters, but also water or gas or whatever meter you have. And once you've set up all of this, you get this user interface already done for you. So you don't need to set up anything. It does everything for you, and you can have very nice comparisons and do a real energy optimization with these historical data, where you can compare very easily two different periods with each other and see if the changes you've made in your installation are taking did save money or not. So this is also an extremely interesting module. You can also show the currency. You can show it in different currencies or different measuring units. So we will see different. We will see an example of that in more detail. The DALI module, it's extremely time-saving module. So with this module, you can save hundreds of hours of programming time. I will show it to you now in a while, because it's so easy to configure. I will configure a DALI system in 20 seconds. So it's a real time saver to set up the DALI module. And you have a complete visualization with all the monitoring and yes, all the information you need for the whole DALI system. So you don't need to do anything. The charts also is one of the highlights of the Evolution. It has a very complete chart model where you can scroll through the different data very easily and nicely. We will have a look at it in the Evolution now in a short while. The logic module, it's an extremely complete logic module where you can set up the different logical functions with a simple block function like that. But if you don't want to use the typical normal block functions, you want to use more programming language, you can, in any of these blocks, just click on them, double click on this area here, and it will open a function editor. In this function editor, you can write the function of the block. So you just can use any of these functions. So as you can see, there are all of these functions: sinus, cosinus, sailing, flooring, round to integer functions, average, minimum, maximum, vector sums. You can set middle, left or right in a byte. You can set it to decimal or not. You can do square roots, sum of products. You can shift left, but or you can do whatever you want with it. Typical multiplication, division, and normal functions. Even you can do if condition, true or false statement. So if the temperature is higher than 30 degrees, then do this, otherwise do that. Or you can do random functions. You just put a rand like this, and you multiply it by the input, and then you've got a random value of this input, where you can set up different random whatever's. So, and then there's a check button where you can check the integrity of the formula you have done. So it's a really complete feature, so which you can set up here. Then you have the log manager. This is also very nice, where you can have the import and export of process points to a CSV file. So you can use any process point, and you can export all the values of this process point to a Excel comma separated value file. And then you can apply import export filters like date and range, minimum, maximum, average, increase or increase second values, data between two values. For instance, I want only to export the data which was between this range and this range. And you can also say, I want to export it and delete the process point log data within a range. So let's say there were some obscure values which were sent by the ETS or by some system which should not have been there, because in the graphical representation it's ugly, because suddenly there's this value which was sent, for instance, by the ETS or by some other which makes a ugly looking graphic there. So you can delete this point in the log, and then you have the nice looking graphic again. You can also export your alarms. So send alarm log to a pre-configured alarm, apply import export filters, delete alarm log data within a range, set up alarm state and priority. So, and then set up the process point which will trigger this alarm information to a email message, for instance. You can set up the diagnostic window. In the diagnostic window, it's very useful to do monitoring functions where you can see in the trace at the bottom everything which is happening in the evolution. So you can have both the view of the data points themselves or the process points information in here. So the treated information or the non-treated information coming from the evolution. You can also see your licenses, if your gateways, if they are connected or not. You can connect to external evolution, even not only to the same internal evolution. You can do a lot of functions here, which I don't have time now to go into more detail. You have the project information, which is also a very useful tool to be able to set up, for instance, the what you have actually spent in this project. So you set up for each and every of the modules in the evolution the prices you want, for instance, for each Modbus data point, I'm going to charge €1. For each KNX data point, I'm going to charge €1 also. For each gateway, I'm going to charge €10, whatever. And you set up all these prices, and then you click generate, and it generates a report of the actual money you have spent in this project, which is also a very nice thing to have. Then you've got non-ACE. The word ACE is a little bit not up to date anymore. EIB interworking standard. Now it's called data point types. This is a module which transforms non-standard data point types into standard data point types. For instance, let's say you've got a weather station where this weather station sends a 14-byte telegram, and every 2 bytes it sends the different values for, let's say, the temperature value, the illumination, the azimuth, the elevation, the whatever, and it's coded in 2 bytes, 2 bytes, 2 bytes, 2 bytes, and you want to uncode this information. You just set up here 14 bytes, and you set up the repetitions, the byte offset, the bit offset, and then it will generate automatically the process points for you, and you can use those standard process points now in the project. For instance, here I'm transforming a 4-byte telegram to a 4 to 1 byte telegram. Then with this configuration, it will generate automatically 4 1-byte telegrams, and this 1-byte telegrams, I set the byte offset. So I said this one is 1, this one is the 2nd byte, this one is the 3rd byte, this one is the 4th byte. It will then, if you click on save, it will then generate the automatically these 4 process points, and these 4 process points then can be used in the visualization or in the logic modules and wherever, so that you have it treatable information, because the 4 bytes doesn't say anything to you. You can have a ping control where you can supervise IP devices. So you set up the ping commands, and it will send ping messages to the IP addresses. And if the IP address responds with you can set up the cyclic frequency to set up this ping. If it responds, it will be a 0, and if it doesn't respond, it will set the bit to 1, saying that there's an error in this device. This is the user interface for the smart visualization. for instance. Then you've got SQL execute commands. In this SQL execute commands, you can set up the name, the description, the query. So I want the information of the last week, and then it will create automatically a trigger process point and a result process point. And you can set also the polling interval here so that it says every 60 minutes I want in the result process point the value of this process point number of the last week. So you can set up, for instance, their values of historical data of a process point, which is extremely useful to use. So you want to compare, for instance, this in KNX you cannot do easily, at least. I don't know of a logic module which can do something like that. You want to compare the value of the temperature it had last week. How do you do that? You cannot. So you want to compare the actual temperature with the temperature value last week or the temperature value last year. You could not do that easily. Now with this module you can do it. You set up which value you want to use, and you can compare the last quarter of an hour, current quarter, last hour, current hour, yesterday, whatever. You set up what information you want, and it will then write this information in a process point. And this process point can be triggered also, so you can it's updated every 60 minutes. But if you want it to be shorter or done by a trigger, you can just send a value on this on the trigger, and it will send you a resulting value in the process point. You can the evolution is a BACnet client and server. This means that that you can either subscribe to a change of value in the as a client, where it will read the information from a server, and if the server changes its value, it's subscribed to the server, so the server will will then not the server, the master, the BACnet master will then send the information. Or you can be the other way around, where it will poll automatically the different values to the bus. So it can be propagated all notifications via the BACnet from the BACnet server. So the evolution has a PIX, protocol integration conformance statement. So it's a certified from the BACnet the certified laboratory. With all of these different features in it. It's not much. In BACnet there are much more features like alarm, anti-event management, like scheduling, like many other which are not implemented. But at the end of the day, the evolution is the BMS. So you don't need the functions in the BACnet system, you need it in the evolution. The evolution will do all the management tasks and do all the scheduler functionality and do all the automation tasks. So you don't really need it in the other, unless you do, and then you will need to use a gateway which can support that. But you have this direct connection with the BACnet, and then you can do a BACnet import with the XML file, so that you have all the process points in the evolution. There's no auto discovery yet implemented in the evolution, but there are very nice simulators and auto discovery tools which you can use in combination with it, for instance. The Modbus, you have the XML file import also, where you can import the Modbus configuration, and even the Vago SIM files can be imported. And then you have the process points automatically created, which then can be used, both the data points and the process point, and then this process points can be used all over in the evolution. You've got a CSV export function where you can export complete project log to a CSV file. You can set up the frequency so that it's daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, hourly, and the destination shared folder per FTP, for instance, or in a shared folder in the device or wherever you want to store this information. After a successful export, you can decide if you want to delete the values before a configured number of months. So it exports it. If it's done correctly, then it can delete all values before, let's see here, all after successful backup, delete all after 1 month. So, or after 1 year, you can set up here. So you can then automate the exports and have only the last year of data in the evolution, so that the evolution database doesn't grow exponentially. So you just have there the last year of information, and the other information is backed up in some CSV file, or you can export it different ways. You can have a complete project export. In the complete project export, the process point table to be exported in minutes, quarter of an hours, days, and weeks will be in different CSV log tables where you can set up here the different frequencies and values to be exported into the CSV tables. But you can also do a SQL database connection in the CSV export module. So you can say, I don't want exports to be done in CSV tables. I want to use an external database, and I want the data to be stored in this external database. So then you can set up the export minutes and alarm locked to the external database, for instance. You can use in MySQL Microsoft SQL, Postgres SQL Server, and then you set up these different. Okay, this one is bigger, so you can set up these different log tables and views, which will then be exported into the external database, so that if you have a different BMS system, but you want the evolution just to log the data and to be to send it to the external database, you can do it like that for the KNX data, for instance. The user rights, there you can have different user rights where you have here, for instance, to set up the different users. You can set the users into different groups, and then you can tell the different permissions for the module permissions and the item permissions. So you can say, for instance, here in the item permissions, if this user has weekly scheduler or which category the module and the category which he has. So in the weekly scheduler, the different categories, if they have full viewing, event handling, or full control. And the module permission is, if a user has full right for the scene module, alarm, or weekly scheduler control, or what the different modules, so only viewing, event handling, and full control are the 3 options you can choose from. So depending on the option you choose, you either you can have different access rights to the different modules, so that the evolution, so that depending on the user, you can see or edit or this, for instance. So if you go into the scheduler, depending on the user right, you will be able to just see this and not be able to change anything, or be able to change it, or be able to add and edit new functions, new scenes, and new events here. Okay, so either just change the values of the existing events, or even the possibility to add new events or new scenes. So these are the different user rights you can set up, not only for scenes, obviously for schedule, scenes, all the modules. And yes, these are the different modules of the evolution. As you can see, there are many modules. It's a real it's a real great tool. So let's go to the evolution itself. So this, for instance, is the visualization page, and this is the editor, for instance, of a hotel project. In this hotel project, what I've done is I've created a template functionality. In the template functionality, I create only one room. So I've created here bedroom one page, this room, okay, and this room here I did not duplicate. I only have it once here, and then I set up in the home page the different links to the rooms. So each one of these links here have template parameters. So I created it with template process points. I've linked the room inside not with a normal process point, but with a template process point. And then the link, if you open that room, if you set here in properties, I want to open the bedroom one page. It will automatically detect that there are template process points inside, and then you can set up these template process points, and you can set up the different values of the process points here. So for instance, for this room there are different values for the group addresses, for instance, and in this room there are different values for the different group addresses. So the middle group here is the one, and the subgroups are those. In this, for instance, I've got my the main group. I think it's the main group. Middle here, sorry, the middle group is 7 here, and here the middle group is no, not the middle group. Anyway, it doesn't matter. There are different. Okay, the main group here is 1, and here the main group is 2. You see, so it has different main groups here, and you set up the different group addresses for the different functions of the rooms here. So the links have the links here have the functions. Okay, so the group addresses, and there's only one room now. That why do it like that? Because you have this layout of the room. Obviously, if you have more than one layout, let's say you have more than one layout of this room, then you have to create one page per each room. But now you don't need to change. If you want to do any changes here, let's see the visualization. So I'm going to press F11. Let's go to this room here, for instance. This is the room. I can switch this room, this light on and off here. But let's say this button here, I didn't want it there. I wanted it higher up. Okay, so now if I go to the rooms, and I'm gonna go to the editor, and I'm gonna say I don't want this button here. I want in all the rooms. I want the button to be there next to it there. I just save it. Okay. Then I export this, and automatically it puts a tick on the page which has been changed. I don't need to search for it first. And then I just click on export. I export this page, and then have a look. The light is now at the bottom here in all of the pages. Let's switch it on so that you can see it. Okay, so also these buttons, as you can see, I'm only switching on and off the light of the one room. I'm not switching it on and off of all the rooms. So I've got an overview now, for instance, of all the rooms here, where I can but in the evolution I only have it done it once. So now if I load this page again, this button will not be here. It will be slightly higher. Let's have a look. Okay, I'm going to go in. Okay, I'm going to go, for instance, in this one room. There you go. Now it's not here at the bottom anymore. It's higher. So all the rooms, it has changed to the higher position. So if so, let's go here. So as you can see, what I've done is I've moved it from this position here, moved it there, just saved it, and then if I go to the visualization page, it has moved in all of the rooms to the top. So it's there in all of the rooms at the top uh, place of the visualization. And now this is obviously not a typical use case where you will have one page with all the rooms in it, but you could do it. Then you have all the rooms of the first floor here represented, and you can control all the the rooms from here. It doesn't really make that much sense, maybe, but you have an overview. Maybe it makes more sense to see just the alarms or some of the features in the different rooms. Okay. Also, let's go to the project quickly. I'll show you here some of the features of the project. Here is, for instance, the charts where you can click on the charts, click on the lines, and zoom in to the lowest point. Let's do it like this. So you can zoom until you are in the lowest resolution. Once you're in the lowest resolution, you just click outside the graph once, again and again, and then you zoom out. And you can set up the dates you want this graph to be. So how long in the past and how long in the future I want to see. You can zoom in like this, so that you can go like this, and you can then go left or right in the graph to see the values better. You can go into different tabs to see different values. You can set up the pre the text here on the left, text on the bottom, the status values of the different things. Here are now in the same graph different values. So it did not set up here the text to the left, but it's better to set up a text to the left. You can see it like this, or you can go, for instance, here to the alarm modules, where you have here, for instance, the alarms which are active at the moment, or the alarm lock, where you can see what happened to the different alarms, and you can see more detailed information here. Or you can acknowledge the alarm, set up, okay, I've seen it, save it, and then when you go in again, this alarm will, if the alarm is away, it will go away from here. Or you can set it to a maintenance time. You set up maintenance time, I want it to be set up there in this day, and save it. So these are the functions I've explained of the alarms. Smart metering is a very nice module. So let's use this one, for instance, here. So you can set up, for instance, now I don't have comparison data for this year. I will have to go to the custom range and set up the date for it was, I think, in 2020 May that I had values. In May that I had values. So yeah, there are some data here. I can also set up then I want to see daily, weekly, monthly, or yearly these values. I can set up if I want to see it in euros or in kilowatt hours or in on different units. Obviously this doesn't have these units, so you won't see it, but if there were a meter with these units, you would see those units here represented also. You can set up comparison, where you can say I want for instance to compare this date with let's go to April 2020, April 2020, and you search, and then you can compare, okay, this is what in May you were consuming, and this is what in April you were consuming. You would typically set up here one year and another year, for instance. Instead of using day, you would set up year, and then you can compare the 1 year. Sorry, I didn't want to press that one. Custom. I want to compare this year with this year, for instance, or you have it at the bottom where you can see month per month or hour per hour in this case what the comparison was. So you can compare easily. So let's say this is in months here at the bottom, and you have done maybe, let's say you've done a correction here, and you say, oh, it really helped. This one didn't help. Other way around. It doesn't matter. So let's say this one really helped. So I spent this, and now I'm only spending that. Perfect. So I know that I've done something right, or so. And obviously it updates. So if you say I just want to see these energy meters, then you show only those energy meters. Or I want to add this one, and then it automatically updates all the values with so you can have different buildings parts and compare see the value of the one building and see the value of the other building very easily, and then see where you're spending more money. So it's a real great tool to use. Then you can have external links, for instance, as I said, for external data, to have the prediction of the date and time, where you can have external links to it. You can have your HVAC system like this, where you, for instance, have you switch on the different circuits, and then the pump stops moving, and then you switch on one circuit and the pump starts moving again, or whatever, and have analog or digital values here represented. You can have let's close this again. You can have the scenes from here, control the scenes. So you have, for instance, the staff scenes, party over scene. Then you can change easily the values here to up or down. You can play the scene or set up a new value in the scene. Put in delays in between. So you just click on the delay and it sets the delay here. And then you can move this delay in between and see what is happening there. You can set up a new scene, create a new scene, add new events for the scene. These process points which appear here will have the name you have given for the module, and it will be only those process points which you have assigned to be seen by the user who is going into the visualization. So you can set up for each user different process points that he can and cannot see, and different categories to be displayed here or not be displayed here. So depending on the user who is going in, he can see different categories or not. So you set up very easily the scene. You just drag the delays in here. You set up the time for the delay. So it's really easy to use user interface for the different values. That's one of the things I love of the Evolution. It's really easy to configure, both for the integrator and for the end user, because the end user must be able to interact with it, with his installation. Now let's go to one of the highlights, the DALI module, for instance. But before we go to the DALI module, okay, let's show it here quickly. This could be, for instance, the DALI installation, where you can have a building, and in the building you have the floors, and in the floors you have the different ECGs and the different displaying. But let's do it in the other Evolution. So if you go here to File, Change a Project, when you go into the Evolution, you get this window. So the Evolution can have multiple projects, but only one project can be active at a time. So this is why do you have multiple projects? Let's say, for instance, you want to copy pages of this project to another project. You just copy those pages. you go to the project manager, you change to the project you want to use. I'm going to activate so long this project, but I'm going to explain now. So you don't need to activate the project to be able to copy the project from one to the other. So it's not necessary that it's activated that you can copy it from one to the other. So you can have any of these projects, you open the project, you copy the pages, you go to the other project, you paste the pages, and it will paste all those pages into this project. So you can have like templates built up into a template project, a project with all the templates you have created, and then you copy and paste this template project. So you import and export always this template project to your new evolutions. Just copy and paste the different pages you want to use from the template project to your new project, and then you can have this. So this is now a new small project. It won't show now anything here because there's nothing exported. So I have to go into the editor. Default password 5 zeros. I'm going into the editor, and now in this editor, I can go now to the modules, for instance, to the DALL-E module. Now, if I go to the DALL-E module, I have created here a DALL-E gateway already. I'm going to delete this DALL-E gateway. Just delete it. Yes. Okay. And I'm going to delete my topology, which I've created also. Just delete it. Delete. Yes. Now, when I've created this, I'll show you in 5 minutes how fast I can create a whole DALL-E installation. The only thing I need to do is I need to copy the IP address of the DALL-E gateway, which in my case now is the one we have installed in the showroom. So in the showroom, I've got this DALL-E gateway via IP. So it's not even the same building where I'm in now. I just create, no, I'm in the topology view, in the DALL-E view. I just create the name of the DALL-E gateway. So I say DALL-E gateway showroom, for instance, showroom. And I put the IP address and the port number of the gateway. I click on save. It will now connect to the DALL-E gateway, read out the whole configuration of the DALL-E gateway, and set up the everything for you. You're done. You don't need to do anything else. You have just created. So let's say you have got 64 DALL-E gateways here, and you have got in this 10 groups, whatever created, it will be done. Then you can create, if you have 100 DALL-E gateways, just have to repeat the step 100 times, and then you've got 6,400 lights integrated in no time at all. The only thing, if you want, obviously, you don't want to work with DALL-E gateways, you want to use with building and building structures, you just create the building, you set up building 1, search for a nice icon for the building, set up the building, save, yes, and add here floor 1, set up a nice icon for the floor, let's use this one, save, yes, and do one more, let's use it, floor 2, and a nice icon again, floor, let's use this one again, save it, yes, and now I say, oh no, sorry, I created the floors outside of the building. I wanted to create them inside of the building, so I'm just going to delete them quickly and create them inside of the building. Delete it again, sorry about that. Okay, let's put it in here, floor 1, okay, floor, save, yes, and floor 2, floor, and save. Okay. And now what I have to do is I just click on the floor, I click on the add sign here, I click on the gateway I've configured, and I say from ECG 1 to 7, and the group 1 I want in the first floor, and then I update this, and I want in the second floor, I want the from 8 to 10, and also the group 2, and update this. I'm done. Now I created my my DALL-E project. I did not export this project, so I need to export everything again. Select all and export it. Sorry. Okay. Now we go here. We go in here, and I've created in my project. Let's show it to you quickly. I've created here in the index page a menu at the bottom. And in this menu, I created an icon, and I just said, I want to open the evolution function, the DALL-E management tool. Okay, so I did not create pages or anything. I just set up a link to open the DALL-E management tool. So I'm going to open this DALL-E management tool now here. And there you go. Here I've got my building. If I click on my building, I can see the floors, and the status is okay. Here I can go into the rooms. I've got a sorry, the floor. I can see now in floor 1 there are 4 normal lights, failed ECGs none, fail rate 0, emergency lights there's 1. I can go to the groups. I can see the different the groups, what is going on there. I'm going to drag and drop this quickly here. So here's the installation. So if I click on here, I switch on the lights. I'm just going to dim it down. So I can control this DALL-E installation in the showroom, in our showroom in Futurasmus. I've done this now in no time. I can see the different ECGs here. I can go to the different ECGs and control them directly from here. I can go again to the overview and go to the building to see the floor 2, for instance, where I can see the emergency lights and the statuses of the emergency lights. So in no time, I've created the DALL-E project. I've created the visualization. I've created the overview of all the floors and the rooms, and the statistical information, everything that the customer wants to see in no time. So as you can see, this is a really nice feature of the Evolution. So you can, and not only did it create the visualization for you, it created all the process points of the DALL-E. So if you go to DALL-E folder, you have the process points in the topology, which gives you the information in the floor, in the different floors, the failure rate and the information of the floor. And it created in the DALL-E gateway itself all the process points of all the ECGs, of everything. So you did not need to do anything. Now you can use these in logic modules and in wherever you want. So these were not created. These were empty. In a matter of fact, let's show it to you. So if I go to DALL-E here, I take the DALL-E gateway, I delete the DALL-E gateway, I say yes, I go to config, I click on this, and I delete this here again. And I go to the topology view again, and I go to DALL-E's there, DALL-E topology, nothing in, everything deleted. You see? So I go to modules, DALL-E, save, and it connects. It creates everything for you. You go out, you have again all the process points created again from scratch. So it's extremely easy, extremely easy. Okay, so then let's have a look at the new scheduler module. In the new scheduler module, I wanted to show it to you in the other side. I'm going to show it to you quickly again in the other side. So I change projects. Just gonna set again this one, activate this one quickly. So what we've done, we've created a new scheduler. This new scheduler is an annual scheduler which is totally responsive.
Stefan, sorry, excuse me. There is a question in the chat.
Yes. Can we compare rooms? Where do you want to compare rooms? Can we compare rooms?
Was me? Sorry, was when you check the compares about the metering. I think you already answered before. If you can compare consumptions about the rooms.
Yes, obviously you need to have an energy meter in the rooms, or you can create some virtual energy meters, but you need to obviously have energy values for that rooms.
Yes, yes. Was the cost when you show the smart metering menus, and yeah, I think you after that you said that you can compare consumptions about buildings, and my question was before that. And
okay.
I'm asking if the manager of the hotel, if can compares if there are similar rooms are the same consumption or not. If not, of course the maintenance have to check what is happening.
Yes, yes, but for that you need either to create some energy actuators which can measure the energy value in the rooms, or you need to install energy meters in each and every room to see
yes,
the energy values.
I'm working on a project that we're gonna be several apartments, and every apartment will have their own metering, electrical metering, water metering.
Yes, then then you can compare the rooms. Obviously,
the rooms.
Yes, yes. Then you can compare the rooms. Obviously, you can
okay,
create.
Thank you about your answer.
Okay, great. Okay, so let's go here into the editor again, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have to export now. Open project. I have to export now all of this again because I want to show the visualization in the other one where there's more data, because this one doesn't have almost any data. Sorry about that. I forgot it. I forgot to show it to you, but it's quick. So as I said, we have been developing this annual scheduler module, but obviously it must be very easy. We want, and the previous annual scheduler was extremely complete. You could do almost anything with it, but it was not easy. It was difficult to configure and to control, and it was not the optimal way to do it. So what we've done now is we've made the same functionality as the previous scheduler, annual scheduler, but with a HTML adaptive visualization, which is extremely easy to control and to configure for the end customer even. So in this module, we have combined the functionality of scenes and the modular in one. So let's see how we've done that. Okay, so the project is now exported. I can now load again this project. 1 second. I can load this project and go into the project, and I can show you the schedules, the annual scheduler. Now, in this annual scheduler, I've played around quite a lot with all the different switching. So you can see there are many different colors and things. Obviously, I'm not a designer and I didn't think a lot when I decided the color schemes for all of this. But here, for instance, you can see if it doesn't fit in one, you can see like 11 more. You just click on that and you can see all of them which are in there. Or you can have the day view, where you can see what's in a day, in the week, what's happening in the week, in the month, or even in the year. So if you click, for instance, on a day, you can see all the events of this day in the year view, and you can then just click on any of this, double click on them, and then you go into the edit event of that day, of that event. So if you go here instead of into the week view, you have the events here, and you can just double click on them and you can edit the event or edit the series. If you want to create a new event, you just need to take either the scene, which pre-configured scene, or the process point you want to use. So you can search here, for instance, for the lights, and let's say I want to use the lights, whatever. It doesn't matter, or HVAs, any process point, dim value, for instance. So let's use this one and this one, and we just take it and drag and drop it anywhere. So if we drag and drop it there, it automatically creates a scene for you, and you can set up now the values of this. You can say, I want this 30%, and this year I want 50%, and then you can set up, for instance, delays in between you can add more there, or you can set up delays in between, and then you can set up the starting time. You can say, okay, it should start this time at this date. This is obviously the time and the date where you have dragged it into. So you don't need to set it up if you have dragged it to the correct place. And you save it, and you're done. You can see when it will be executed. You save it, and you're done. You have you have created your scene to be executed at this day of the month, this day of the month, at this time. You can drag and drop it to a new time. If you don't like the time, you just drag and drop it to a new time or a new day, like this. You can double click on it and change it, but if you change it, you obviously have already created the events. So now you don't want usually to change the events. You could change the events by clicking on this. You change the events, you go to the same screen you've seen before, but these are set up already. So now what you typically want to do, if you double click on it, is to change. You can enable or disable it. You can have a post-process function. So if there was a bus failure, evolution failure, while it should have been executed, it will then execute it afterwards when the power comes back again. If this tick is active, you can set up different priorities for the events. You can set up different categories. So if you select a different category, it's for the user rights and for the color to be represented in the scheduler. So now it changes to a different color here, and you can set as many categories as you wish. So you can set up here, for instance, a new category. If you don't like this color scheme, you can go to another color scheme and you set it up like this. And you just click on save, close, and save, and now you've got a different color scheme here. And this category, you can then in the editor decide which user will see this or not see this event, or be able to edit it or not edit it, or will be able to add new events or not add new events to it. So this you can set up in the editor. And then you can set up the occurrence. So in the occurrence, you just set up, you can say, when should it happen? So this is the same as we have done here. So this year and sorry, I didn't have to go to and that year is the same feature, but then you can set up also the series. So you can say, when should this be repeated? I want it to be repeated weekly, and it should be repeated on this day, and this day of the week. And then you save it. And now this is repeated those days in the week. If you go to the month view, you can see the repetition of it. What was it? I think it was, let's go to the week again. It was this one here. I don't like this name. So let's go to edit series again. And I change this name here to something which I can recognize easily. I save it. And now I can go here and I see my, okay, I'm not, where were I was in the next year. I was here in June when I created it. I created it in June. Okay, so there's my event. I can now double click on this again, or I can right click on it and say edit event, occurrence or series. To explain it better, I'm going to go into the week view again. And if I right click on this and I say edit occurrence, I'm just going to edit this one occurrence here, not all of the occurrence. So I'm going to set this, for instance, to 130 here, save it, and this goes now to 130. So the rest of the series is staying the same. I just edited this one. It's the same as dragging and dropping it, so I don't even have to go into it. I'm editing now this occurrence only. So if I move this now, let's say I move it here, and I want to have it back into the series. I can double click on it, edit series, and save. And it asks me, do you want this occurrence to be changed again to the whole series? I say yes, and then it sets it again back to the series. I can also just change the occurrence again or whatever I want. So right click, edit event, edit occurrence. I'm just editing this one time event, or I can edit the whole series, and I can say I want to edit the whole series, and I want the whole series to be executed at 3 o'clock, for instance, not that time, but on 3 o'clock. And then I save it, and the whole series now moves down to 3 o'clock, as you can see here. Or I double click on it, edit series. I want it back to 2 o'clock, save, and then it goes back to 2 o'clock. So I can change it extremely easy. But now I don't want in my holidays that it is at 2 o'clock. I want to be in my holidays that it is in 3 o'clock, for instance. So I can put an exception, and I say in my exception, I want this to be executed in my exception range. So I go here to the range August, from the 1st of August. No, let's put the 15th of July to the 5th, whatever, to the 15th of August, or 20th of August, 21. Apply. So now I save this, and I want in this date range, I want it to be executed not at 2 o'clock, but at, let's say, 1 o'clock. So I save this now. So here it's executed at 2 o'clock. So I go now forward and forward, and one more forward. And here it's executed at 2 o'clock still. But as I said, in 17th of July, it should start be executing at 1 o'clock. So in the holiday time, it's in another time. And then after the holiday, it goes then back again to the to 2 o'clock. So here it's 2 o'clock, and there it's 1 o'clock. Okay, and then you can also see with a symbol here at the bottom right that it's an exception. So these are executed not at the time of the series, like you can see the symbol here at the right bottom, it's the series. This one is the exception. Now, but I don't want it to be executed the whole year. I want it to be executed only during a certain period. So then you, it should only be in summertime. So then you can click here on summer, or you can add a new period and you can say this period is from this date till this date and it has to have this color. So you set up here the summertime, for instance. Now if you save this and you want to update the whole series, it will put this only in summertime. So now if you go to December, for instance, here, it won't be there anymore. So there it's gone. Okay. Today, I go back to today, and I think it was in July. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so it's extremely easy to add events, to change events, to change the series of events, to edit the event, to create scenes, because I've created now, by doing this, I've created a scene, and I've added the scene to this annual scheduler, and the overview is good. This is responsive, so it adapts to the screen size. So if you make it bigger and smaller, it automatically adapts. If you go and you want to have a nice overview of everything, you can have the annual view. And we will be adding different views. So there will be even the possibility to see the events in the annual view as we're seeing here. Or you can have different settings of this in the next version we will be showing. So this is the annual scheduler, which I think is one of the highlights. The new annual scheduler is extremely easy model to configure. Let's go very quickly. My time is up, but I'm just going to show you extremely quickly the navigation structure, and then I'm finished. So I'm going to change project again. I'm going to activate this one again. This one goes faster, it goes smaller. What I'm just going to do quickly in the last 5 minutes is to show you how to do a navigation, and then I'm done with the presentation. So I just activated this. I'm just activating this again. 1 second. Okay, so once this is activated, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a small navigation. The evolution, you can have navigators, which is like a frame. And this frame, you can have links to open pages within frames. So what I'm going to do is, let's go inside, not Annual Planner, but the editor. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros, and go in. Okay, so what I'm going to do is in this, I'm just going to delete this now here and delete these buttons here. Okay, I've created 3 pages: a red page, a green page, and a blue page. Okay, and I want now in the index page to create a small navigator. So I go to components, to navigation, and I just use a navigation. No, not page container, page container. Drag and drop this page container in, and I say which page I want to open per default in this page container. I don't need to take one, but I'm going to take this one now, and I add it in here. And now I've got this page container here with this default page created. Now I'm going to open links, page navigation elements, which are small links. And I'm just going to say I want to open the link page red. In which page container? I'm going to give this page container a name. So let's call it frame. Let's call it frame. Frame RGB. Okay, save it. So I want this link to be open the red page in the RGB frame. Okay, which is this frame here. And this link here, I'm just going to go into the status. I'm going to write, as you can see, there's a flag. So if I double click on here, I can set up different languages for this. But I'm just going to put now one language, red, and I'm just going to quickly set up the red. No, sorry. sorry, leave it as it was. I'm just going to set up here the this, but I'm going to say this is not just a normal one. This is a part of a menu. So this is a menu group. Then if I click on this, I have now a new tab here, selected status. So in the selected status, I'm just going to set up here now the red one here. And then what I'm going to do now is copy this and I'm going to paste it, and have a look where my mouse is. If I paste it, it pastes exactly at the pointer of the mouse. So it's extremely easy to paste things. You don't need to paste and drag and drop it to a new place. You just point to the pointer where you want it, and then it goes there. So I'm going to just open here the green page, and this one has to open the blue page. I'm almost done, very, very quickly. This is red, green. So I'm just going to change the name here in the status to green. So green, and this one also green. And I'm going to change the color here to green. Okay. And this one must be blue. So I'm going to change this one to blue, and the color must be blue. Okay. And I'm going to save it. And that's it. Now I'm going to export this project. So I'm going to select all, export the project. I'm selecting all because the first time I'm exporting it the first time, and it was exported before, so Evolution thinks it was exported, but it's actually not exported now because of the changing of the project. So I have to export all of them. So now I've exported this, and there I've got my navigation: red, green, and blue. And as you can see, the selected page, which is open here, is shown here in the navigation quickly, so that I can know in which page I'm actually in at the moment. This is if you call it same menu. You can also create in the bottom an icon, new icon, and in this new icon you can say it should open an HTML page, and it should open, for instance, the green page in the page container, this frame here, and you can save this now, and and obviously you need to export it. Okay, close, cancel, go here, update the page, go in again, and now I can open with this icon this page here. Okay, so I didn't set up the icon here, so I just need to set up any floor, room, bedroom. Okay, set it up like this, export it again, close, update it, and there you go. There's my bedroom. I open my bedroom in this navigator. Now I can also, last thing, open here a new icon which opens a window. So I can say I want not an HTML page, but I want a HTML page, external URL in a window. And you can say the size of the window you want to open, if it's resizable or not, full screen or not, if it scrolls or scale the page inside or not, if it has to maintain the XY ratio or not. And then you can say the external or internal HTML page. So I'm going to open, for instance, the blue one in a window, and save this, save it, export it, close, go. And this is the last thing I'm going to do. Enter. I've got my new menu here, and I open my window here at the bottom. Okay, so this is also extremely easy. And now in this window, obviously you can open not a single page, a page with the navigation again. So in this, you can have your own navigation with a different, so I could open the index page instead of the blue one, and then I have this navigation inside of this window. Okay. Okay, perfect. And the components are as easy as the others to add here. You just drag and drop them inside of the different elements, and you can control it from there. Okay. Okay, and the process points you link here to this elements. You just set up the process point, lights. Set the light you want to be switched, and then you can switch on and off a light from here. Okay, with this I'm finished. I hope you've enjoyed the webinar. It was a bit fast, I know. In 2 hours for a product like this, it's much too little time to show everything. But I think you have a good overview now of what you can do with the Evolution and the features you can have. Also, please know that this product, as I said, is a product which is developed over the last 15 years. It's not a new product. It has many reference projects all over the world. The whole all of the development engineers involved in the project are still involved in this project, and we will be adding new features, updating the product constantly in the future. If you have some additional features which you need in the project, please contact us and we can put it in the list of things to do. We are quite flexible, not like a huge company where they don't multinational, where they don't have where it takes years to do something. So obviously within reason we can react quite fast. Depends also on the project you're interested in, and our team can connect with TeamViewer to help you to if you have a first project and you don't feel comfortable with, we can also help you in the first project to get set up, to help you with the first steps. So please feel free to contact us if you need help. We can do a small training for you, personalized training to set up the features, so that it goes easy from there on. Okay, thanks a lot for your time, and as always, we will be doing more webinars in the future. Actually, in a matter of fact, we have a very nice project design tool, which we will be doing webinar in the next future. And also we will be holding a webinar inside of the Intersys HMS online connected event, which is also very interesting, where we will show BACnet and Modbus integration with their gateways. So please feel free to join also for those webinars. And thank you for finding the time. I know time is money, and money is good to have. So thanks again. Okay, bye-bye. I'm saying bye-bye. If you have questions, and you can please ask any questions you wish. I'm not in a hurry. I hope you liked it. Yeah. Hello, Solomon. I see you're also there. A long time since we last spoke.
Thank you, Stephen.
Yes. I would love to see you again. Maybe soon I visit Taiwan again. I wanted to come before, but the borders are closed. You don't let anyone in.
Okay. I hope to see you again.
Yes. I enjoyed the time very much there in Taiwan.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Stephen. Okay. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Okay, great. If there are no more questions, then hope to see you in another webinar. I'm going to stop then. Unless, or wait, there was one. I want to hear from you about the possibilities of how can we use the software in our school for students to work with through online courses, and they are all finished. Some more knowledge. Okay. I've got this information. I will speak it with Branko Dvorsak. Sorry about my pronunciation. I saw your question. I'm going to speak it with my partner and see what we can do for you, and then maybe come back to you. So if I read it correctly, you want to have some version for your online for your students, so that they can study, they can use the evolution in their training. Is that correct? Are you still there? No. Okay. We will come back to you.
When I can I make some questions?
Yes, please.
Yes. Okay. About the I'm not enter in the beginning. Sorry about that. I don't know if you already talked about it, but if we want to connect several apartments through IP, there is any kind of limitation.
There's no limitation, but there are licenses you need to acquire. Yes. So there are 5 gateway licenses included in the evolution. But let me show you here. So in the evolution, let's go to the home page, to the buying prices. In this standard version, no, let's go to the evolution page and to what is included. What is included? So these are the licenses which are all included in the evolution. Okay, so as you can see, there are 5 KNXNet IP gateway tunneling connections included in the evolution. 5 Modbus, 1 BACnet, smart metering, 5 of them.
Sorry, I will interrupt you.
Yes.
Need to be IP routers or can be IP?
No, it can be IP gateways. Normal IP gateways is fine. Yes.
Okay.
And then if we go to the home again and go to the pricing, buying prices, you will need to buy these extensions for KNXNet IP gateways. So for 5 gateways, it's 266 euros for each 5 gateways you want to add.
Okay. There is any kind of about that additional features that you show about smart metering and stuff like that is already included, or
all the base models are included. Everything that I've shown is included. Everything is included in the evolution. You don't need to buy anything else. This price here for the smaller 1500 data point version can do everything I've shown you.
Okay.
But the only thing you need to add are the extensions if you need more gateways, more meters, or more features. But all the functions I've explained you can do with it. So there's already the smart metering for 5 meters, I think, included in the basic module.
Okay, and is possible to have or if it's possible to control via internet to give the client
yes,
the web server is already included. I do not know.
Yes, obviously. This is totally web-based, so everything is via web page controlled.
Okay.
So
for remote control, not in the intranet, for internet,
yes,
is possible to do it the same way, or we need additional license because some brands
no additional licenses, no additional licenses.
Okay, about the machines, I saw that it is the server advanced, and the server 9 inches rack.
Yes. The differences.
The big differences. Can you?
Yes, here in the hardware, you can see the differences in the web page. So the main difference is it's a little bit faster. So the CPU is a little bit bigger in the different devices, but it's not the biggest thing. Main difference is the memory. So this has more memory, and this has even more RAM memory. So it's more the load of data, the amount of telegrams per second you want to store. So if you have an extremely high data rate that must be stored in the database, I would recommend you to go for the bigger boxes. But you can use this in a big building if there's not a very high data rate. It's more than enough to have one of the smaller boxes.
Okay, all the storage about the things that the software we're going to read will be storage on the server, correct?
Yes, but you can also have the virtual machine version where it can be hardware bound, or even in a private cloud. So you can have a cluster system where you can store it in there, but then you have to have the license agreement with the system, because the hardware bound version is a license file which is linked to the hardware where you are installing this virtual machine. And whereas the private cluster cloud version, there's no hardware, it's multiple hardware, it's a cluster. So you cannot protect it with a license file, you have to protect it with a user agreement. Okay.
Okay. And in this case, if there is a fail on the connections from internet,
yes,
all the
data is stored locally in the device. It has a local database.
Okay. Will be hardware that will be located.
Yeah, if you have a cluster system, it's multiple hardware. It's not just one hardware in your private cloud system. So you are not depending on one hardware then.
Okay, I have to check it because I'm not comfortable with that. I need to check what it is.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. I think for now is I think. Thank you
for
your time.
Perfect, great. And feel free to just ask us anything if you have questions in the future. Write us an email, and we can schedule a team viewer session or a Teams session. And all our customers have a Teams account with us so that they can ask quick questions if they have questions or whatever. So
okay,
they have an online channel with us. Okay. Okay, great. Any other question? Okay, so if there are no more questions, I'm going to close the webinar. So if you have a question, now's the moment. Okay, great. Then I'm going to stop the webinar. Thanks a lot for participating, and I hope to see you in the future, maybe in real life. That would be great. Okay, bye-bye. Bye.
Thank you.